What's going on, everyone? This is Fighting Words with Kevin Shells. I'm Shells.
Kev, 8 Count Sports, baby.
Yes,
What's going
sir.
on?
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on,
Salute,
bro?
salute, salute. What's going on, bro?
Everything good, everything good, everything good, man.
Got a lot to
Everything.
talk about, homie. Got a lot to talk about, man.
Oh man, there's a lot to talk about.
Yes,
You know what's
sir.
crazy? Going
Yeah.
into UFC 290,
Okay.
the buzz wasn't big. The buzz
It was
wasn't big.
not. It wasn't.
I felt like, and I feel like, you can tell me how you feel. I felt like because I think out of the 3 big matches on the card, it felt like it was going to be a foregone conclusion. Like all of those matches, like we kind of figured, like that we basically
That'd
figured
been the
who was
result?
going to win. The foregone conclusion. We kind of figured who was going to win, and I think honestly, only one of the 3
Didn't come out the way we thought it
victor.
would come out.
That was expected. Yeah.
Honestly, I also feel, and this is gonna be this may be a stretch, but I don't think the UFC pushed it as much as they did other UFC bouts.
Right.
It still leads to that, he's getting his flowers, but I still feel after Aljo, Volkanovski is still the most disrespected
Think that?
champion in the UFC. I still feel that way, bruh. It's still, piece of me still feels that way, man. I don't know.
Well,
He's getting.
why do you feel that way? I gotta find out. I think we need to address this.
We need to address. Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to address it.
No, we definitely will. I'm about to put it out there right now. The reason why I say this is because I still. Okay, now we acknowledge that they consider him the pound for pound king, even though he had a questionable loss to Islam, which is crazy to me. He's still the one that we're now appreciating the fact that he's very active as a champ. We're now appreciating that. But I don't think he's still a fan fave.
He got a country on his back, don't he?
But that country has New Zealand has so little fight. Anybody that comes out of New Zealand, they're gonna back up crazy. So to me, it's like, it's not like it's a heavy market out there. It's just that it feels that like he's still not a fan favorite. He's a regional fan favorite, of course. Over there, he's the guy. With Volk, it just seems like he's the hardcore acknowledgement of who he is. Yeah. But I just don't see him. I don't see him as a fan, international fan fave. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that was part of the reason why there was like you said to yourself, there was not that much of a hype behind the card.
Yeah.
Which to me describes Alex's career overall. He's not the most push forward champ or the popular champ, but in the octagon, his accolades cannot be challenged or it can't be questioned. And I think that it reflected in the hype behind the whole card that he was headlining. The card itself didn't generate a lot of attention among the masses, but the card itself, every fight was worth the pay. If you pay for that pay-per-view, it was worth the pay if you pay for that ticket to be there. That's just how I see it.
I feel you. I think it's kind of a hard thing it's a hard thing to dissect. I guess it depends on. I don't feel that he's underrated.
No, underrated is wrong word. Underrated is wrong. Underappreciated. I'll say that. Underappreciated. Not underrated.
Underappreciated. Well, that's the
underappreciated.
Underappreciated. I mean, that goes around. I mean, that happens. You have fighters that's underappreciated. Okay. Well, I mean, I just feel that. What do you have him pound for pound?
Pound for pound?
You
personally? Oh man,
yeah, I know we're right now, but I want to reiterate that. Like, what do you have him pound for pound?
I was gonna say, I was just gonna say was that my rule, which is that if I see you lose in another weight class, I can no longer consider you in that pound for pound list.
Right, that's something.
But in Volk's case, that fight was so the result of the fight was so controversial. It wasn't a dominant win.
I don't think it was controversial.
I think controversial in the sense that not controversial, but it was questionable. It wasn't a dominant win where like it was clear cut he lost that fight.
That's not even.
It's questionable to me why he's still considered number one over Islam.
That's
a whole different story.
Totally
to me, I don't get that. I don't get that, and I don't get why he's put. I'm gonna go deeper. I don't get why he's put number one above John Jones when John Jones had. Here's the thing with John Jones. John Jones, Islam, Volkanovski. Out of all three of those guys I mentioned, Volk went to another weight class and lost. Whether you yourself personally believe he lost or not, on the records he lost.
And it wasn't controversial. Yeah, and it wasn't like he beat.
No, controversial is the wrong word I used. What I meant, it wasn't. His loss wasn't dominant. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't
clear cut.
It was debatable.
It was debatable. But for the argument of for the sake of this argument, he lost. Right. On records, he did lose.
Yeah.
Islam only fights in 155. He hasn't fight in another weight division. John Jones, out of all those three guys I mentioned, John Jones is the only champ who went to another division and had a dominating win over one of the rising stars in that division. So the fact that the UFC doesn't consider John Jones the pound for pound king right now is questionable to me. But he might be considered such if he beats Stipe. But we're gonna save that for later in the conversation. Because I have reasons I think they would definitely want to make him pound for pound king if he beats Stipe. But we're gonna get to that.
I feel what you're saying up to the point. So me and you, our top three as far as pound for pounds are identical. It's John Jones,
correct.
Then it's Islam, then it's Volk. Now, I think where me and you differ at is I can understand why. Like, even though I have John Jones number one, I get why people may not even have him on the list.
I get that.
I don't knock that at all.
I get that. We can't all get that either.
I wouldn't go back and forth with anybody about that. That's why we have testing, right? So I wouldn't go back and forth with anybody about that. I don't think that I feel like he's rated properly. Like, I'm impressed by what he's done, but you got to understand something too, bro. Like, it's not, he's in an era, he's in a spot right now, bro. It's like, there's been, remember what I mentioned with Kamaru, I was saying about Usman at the time, why I gave Leon Edwards so much props. I was like, because that was a point in time where when one guy is universally recognized as pound for pound the best fighter in the world, that actually doesn't happen a lot, where it's a consensus that he's the guy. It's not often that it happens. I think we get spoiled when there's a guy that's on top like your Mayweather. But it's not a consensus. Right now, the thing with Volk, the UFC right now, you talked about Oliveira being a legit superstar, right?
Yes.
I feel like the UFC is flooded with those. So it's not like it's hard to stand out. I feel like it's hard to stand out. Like it's not. We're not in an era where he's the number one pound for pound guy, and there's not a lot else going on. Like, you got other guys that's putting on great performances, and they have claim to, like, I'm looking over here at Izzy. Like, if you may not have him in his top five, he's on the doorstep. He's not that far off from Volk. When you look at their total accomplishments, to be honest with you, he went to another weight class.
You made my point right there.
He went to another weight class and pretty much did the same thing, bro. Like, you want to say he was closer? When you look over at Oliveira only lost to Islam. Islam just beat Volk. Like, when you look at John Jones just coming out of nowhere, he's in the conversation for pound for pound. Like, it's so many storylines in MMA and UFC that it's almost like, bro, he's like a needle in a haystack, bro. I mean, not even like he's like a dime a dozen.
But here's the thing, though. You brought up no, I get what you're saying, but you brought up a good point. Him and Easy basically have the same record. Their journeys are very similar. Matter of fact, they're in the same region. They're basically on the same team.
Same camp, almost.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But at the end, Izzy is still, like, he is still a fan fave, as opposed to Volk, who is still more like a hard. And I'm not putting it on anybody, but I'm just saying, to me, that is what makes him, to me, the most disrespected. When I say disrespected, I don't mean it doesn't mean is on purpose or intentional. It just
Yeah.
means that I don't think he's getting the shine that he should get based on his accolades.
But we've seen these accolades before, though, bro. It ain't like he's doing. It's a great accomplishment, and it's not easy. But bro, there's guys right now that got the same accolades, bro. So it's like that's fighting now. Like that's why he's not standing out. Like you got John. I'm like, bro. Like usually when you have a great fighter, bro, he stands alone. Right now, we can't even agree that he's number one pound for pound. You gotta stand. He's not standing out, bro. Like so I get what he's doing is amazing, but we got other guys that's doing. We just now said Izzy.
And I'm about to propose a question to you in regards to Izzy.
And bro, we don't have Izzy in the top 5. Neither the two of us, bro.
But let me I'm going to raise a point in regards to Izzy. What is the difference between Izzy and Volk? Why is Izzy a superstar and Volk isn't? When both of them, like we just said, have very comparable fight journeys.
Because of the optics. Like this is as much as we're purists, like the ones that we really watch and we actually like the science of the game. It's still entertainment, bro. Like when you turn on the TV, there's certain fighters that have certain things that glue you to the set, bro. There's certain guys that got it, bro. Izzy, I mean, coming in flashy, the kicks, his style, putting people to sleep. When he first came in, when he beat Robert Whitaker, bro, it wasn't like a 5-round dominant, bro. It was like a 2nd round knockout, spectacular, extra stuff, semantics after all of that. Like it was like, yo, he called his shot, bro. See, it ain't no different from Conor. Exactly. This is entertainment, bro. It ain't just that. And to me, and bro, and on top of that, to me, bro, if he was just the most dominant guy and everybody else bro, Dama doesn't, and where they are right now is other guys that's doing the same thing. That is the two other guys right now between John Jones and Izzy where I can say, okay, they're doing this same, like he's not that far above. Islam, bro. He just tapped out Oliveira, the superstar we was talking about, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, and he beat Volk. That's two pound for top 5 pound for pound wins back to back. No matter how you slice it, bro. And we didn't even get to Leon Edwards, who beat the number 1 pound for pound guy. The only reason why we're not talking about him is because of inactivity. He beat what's his name, and he ain't really right now. We like clamoring for the next fight, bro. That's the only reason we even talk about him yet, bro. Like it's like that's the 4 guys. It's rare you get a situation where dudes are this dominant, like pulling off 10 fight winning streaks and all of that. But bro, that's where we at. Bro, think about it, bro. When the year started, we was talking about the number 1 pound for pound the fight for the number 1 pound for pound was Volk and Islam. Here we are right now. They both.
we're not even.
I mean, depending on who you ask, but it's so much other things going on. It's just like he got to do. If he would have beat Islam, that would have been it right there. That'd have been, bro. That'd have been it.
You think so? Even
yes. That'd have been it.
Probably so. You're right. With Volk, I mean, with Islam, that'd have been the one.
Champ, and he beat somebody in the top 5.
He would have been.
We would have been talking about Dip, who we fighting at 155 next. That's what we would have been talking about, right? That would have been it. He didn't do it.
Good point. Well, Dave, you heard it from us both. You gotta be more charismatic, bro.
but you know what too? Even if you're not as charismatic, so you gotta do a little more, right? You can't miss. You can't miss like you have to be even better. Like there's certain in real life, that's everyday life. There's some people that may have a little more things going into a job interview than you, so you got to turn it up. There's and that's anything, bro. There's people when you go to school, they might have graduated from this high school SAT score here and there. You may not be coming from that kind of background. You got to turn up. This is so heated situation. You got to turn up. That's nothing. That ain't nothing, no. That ain't nothing, no. But
How
speaking
do you
of,
feel about his performance?
oh man, so I mean, to say he, okay, we're gonna talk about his performance. It was masterful. He made the interim champion. He just was levels above
Yeah.
Rodriguez, and Rodriguez is good. Rodriguez is solid. I mean, I do think that I will say though, I think Volk's beat higher caliber fighters coming into this, but at the same time, you know, Rodriguez was dope. His fighting style, everything. Like he didn't back his way into the title shot. He earned it.
Yeah, definitely.
He earned it. You know what I'm saying? So I can appreciate the performance. That's Volk just showing his excellence again. You know
It definitely was.
You know what I mean?
Definitely was.
It's lapping the. I mean, damn. What was it before I even go any further? I got that. So what was your take on this performance?
My take. I saw a fighter who was completely 100% confident in his skill set. You saw it in the way that he took his time in breaking down Rodriguez before the opportunity came for him to really go full throttle on him. That's what I saw. Like he throughout the whole fight, he was taking his time. It was a good back and forth, but he was taking his time, conserving his energy, going hard to, like, you know, there's certain situations where we've seen fighters who would they'll gas themselves out, attempting for a submission or a knockout, and then once they blow their load for lack of a better term, they're left with nothing left, and that is when the opponent turns up on them, and that simple mistake is what cost them the match. You didn't see that in Volk. Volk took his time with him. He broke him down. That body shot. That body, like we hit him with that body shot, that takedowns. It made me feel like, yo, he was waiting for it, like there. He like, there it is. Now it's my time. I got him. Like, and before it was a good, like it was a very masterful performance by Volk, and like you said, he's reaching to the point of Usman. This is reminding me of Usman's run.
Yeah.
He's about to lap the division.
Lap.
And this is what we're seeing now. Like it may come to a point where we're gonna have him in a competition with GSP if this keeps going. If he keeps going on this trend, just like it was Usman was just about to be in that conversation too until Leon caught him with that kick heard around the world. So
So do you think though he's already lapping the division? Do you think that? I mean, we talk about GSP. GSP
is he lapping the division? He caught his next opponent, which was
for Topuria.
Topuria. Yeah, that's not lapping the division, but he about to get there if he gets past Topuria.
Bro, that is the fight of fights. This dude is a problem.
Yeah,
that dude is scary good.
Yeah,
scary good. I don't even know if he's probably ranked in the top. He's in the top 10 by now. But he's been winning so impressively. It's like push him to the top. Like Volk done beat everybody else. That I can't
Volk
wait.
Beat everybody else. That's the only name that makes sense at this point.
But let me pose this before we go to the next co-main event. Let me just pose this. GSP stayed in one division, and he was very dominant in that division. Like prior to be honest with you, prior to Conor McGregor, the whole champ going into other divisions and being successful was very few and far between, and it wasn't tried as much as far as being a champion and moving up. Now we're in an era where, like boxing, like to be a great fighter, you go up in the division. That has become mandatory.
It's like something you gotta put on. It's like you gotta check it off. It's something you gotta check off.
Exactly, and now it's UFC MMA has evolved to that. So I'm gonna pose a question to you. I feel like his legendary status will be determined by that. You know what I mean? I don't think being a champion in one division is great, and it's not easy. Not easy, but I think the name of the game for legendary status has evolved now.
Okay,
that's my personal opinion. Do you feel like he could stay in that division and still get clout? Get the clout to get that kind of. I mean, we talking about GSP. I mean, is catching GSP the thing now? Are we beyond that? Just staying as far as staying in one division.
I really love that question because I'll say this: we kind of answered it 5-10 minutes ago when we said that when you brought it up, saying that the reason why he's not that big of a superstar because he didn't beat Islam. If he had beat Islam, then it would have been like who's next in the 155 division. Could have been Conor. You know,
Yeah.
Oliveira. There's like that division. That division is the most.
Crazy.
It's the deepest division.
Crazy.
So yes, if
Crazy.
he had got himself in that division, then yeah, he definitely be getting the shine that I feel he deserves. And I think probably that is what will get him in the GSP conversation. Maybe the GSP standard will always be there, but you have to, do different things to get into that conversation.
Exactly.
So maybe that is what he has to do to get into that conversation at this point.
Yeah, that's what.
But you know what? I still believe that if he laps his division, that conversation will come regardless.
Hasn't he kind of done that already? I mean, with the exception
of like
past one name.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
actually, bro. Yeah. Until there's like a Rodriguez Volkanovski 2. When we start getting to when he's really fighting dudes, when he's literally fighting, when he's literally lapping the division, it's still like, you know,
I just
he's in there yet. He's
bro,
there.
I feel like I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like because he already took the chance, I kind of feel like kind of open. Like it would be like if Kamaru would have tried to go up to fight Izzy and then lost to Izzy and then came back down to lap the division, would we look at him the same? He would have had that same clout. I think the fact that he tried it, bro.
Let me ask you this. Once Izzy starts lapping his division, are we still gonna look at him the same? Because he did go up a division and get sent and lost to the Polish Power.
I think the standards changed, bro.
No, but I'm saying though. I
already think he needs to. I kind of do.
You think he needs to go back up and fight? You think Izzy needs to go back up a weight division and
It's not that. Look, he's already a great fighter. I don't think, this is my personal opinion, I don't think he's gonna do anything else at middleweight that's gonna further his legacy.
Okay.
And I feel the same way about Volk. Okay. I don't see them doing anything else. And I think what adds to that is the fact that they tried it already. I feel like the visual, like you said, you mentioned it and you was always right. You always had a point about this. It's the pound for, when you talk about a pound for pound list, it's what if a person went up? That's the next step. Like, what if a person goes up? We're talking about legs. Okay, you've dominated the division. If you retired now, if you won 5 more fights, I wouldn't feel any different. I'm just being honest with you.
Gotcha.
I would not.
No. Understood. That's understood.
Yeah, if he would have beat Robert Whittaker, if he would goes and beats Duplessis again, like he beats Duplessis right now, I wouldn't think any differently of him than I do now. I do think differently of him because of the Pereira fight, because of the story behind it. That was a different kind of story behind that fight. That kind of made that a little different. But I think, bro, I'm not gonna think any different than him, bro. But I will think differently if he moved up a weight class.
Gotcha. And one
that would enhance his legacy. We know you're the best middleweight. You've been that for a while now. If somebody came and beat you, if you stayed there another 3 years and somebody beat you at 35, I would just say, yeah, you got old. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even think of it like that. That's the pace. That's what would happen. But if you go up while you still have your juice and you can pull off getting 2 belts, maybe even go to heavyweight. Maybe. I know it's a push, but what I'm saying is, this is at this point, we know you're great. We know you're here, but there's levels. So you're one of the greatest middleweight champions ever. So you're there with like Anderson Silva, I guess GSP from the perspective, like GSP stayed in 1 weight class. That's great. That's what, are you content with that? You just want to stay there?
Yeah.
Or you want to go beyond that? No, I'm serious. Like,
no, he said, "Oh, you just want to stay there, huh?" Like,
bro, you're there already. Bro, you're there already. To me, you're there already. Like, you're there. The only difference that we look at GSP any differently is because back then they weren't going up weight classes like that and collecting 2 belts per weight class. That wasn't really the thing back then.
Yeah. You know what? You raise a good point. Now that makes sense. I get that. But I still do believe that if Volk continues on this path, at the very least, there would be talks about him, like, you know, reaching that GSP level. Because to me, it would be like it's like a golden standard. Like GSP's career, it's like Michael Jordan's 2-3 peats. I mean, you don't need to do that exactly to be in the conversation anymore. But once you start doing things similar to it, then people start putting you in that conversation. That's what I feel with both.
So I think I kind of settled. I just feel like it's the ball.
No, I
is
get
moved. The ball is moved, bro.
The bar has moved.
The ball is moved just to be. I mean, at this point, bro.
So here's the question: Why didn't the ball?
All right, so here's what I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna cut you. I'm gonna say this. When GSP was fighting at middleweight, he was at middleweight. Welterweight. He was at welterweight. When GSP was fighting, the opponents that came around, these were guys. How do you say this? That going into the fight, some of them, you kind of questioned if he could beat them. And it's not that because he wasn't a great fighter. It's just that the competition level, they brought different things to the table.
Gotcha.
I'm looking at the landscape, bro, and I get things change. Who is Volk gonna beat that's gonna move you? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's always, we already talking about right now him being underrated and all of that. He's just gonna be that, bro. We gonna, oh yeah, he was a great, Volk had got busy. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like that, bro. That's what.
But here's the question I propose to you then: because I do agree with you, like we're reaching a new era in MMA where we're looking at you to see, okay, you did all you can in one division, when are you gonna move up or down?
Yeah.
I believe we are in that era. But even though we were in that era, Usman, who never moved up from his division at the time when he was on the streak, Usman's streak was putting him in the conversation with GSP, and he didn't move up a division. He was actually lapping his division. We was actually waiting to defeat Leon Edwards. That'd have been his first lap. No, that's not his first. That'd have been. You're right. That's not his first lap. But that'd have been Masvidal coming to. Yeah, it was so cute. It was. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah. And he was sleeping dudes too.
Yeah,
like spectacular.
Money shots. It was money shots.
Yo.
But we was waiting for him to because at that point everybody thought to finish Edwards so he could be in that GSP conversation, and he wasn't doing it by moving up a weight class or moving down a weight class. He was doing it by lapping the weight class that he was already in. It's only now that he's more than when he lost the title. It's only now he's talking about moving up.
But yes, I do believe Usman. But you got to remember, Usman had other things that you got to remember. But the thing about Usman was he was recognized as the #1 pound, like universally. Like there was nobody said anybody else. It was like if you said somebody else, you had a bias. And that's what I mean. Like it's very rare that there's one. Like it's not always that. And that's where we are now.